Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living. A while ago, I decided to grow some sweet potatoes in my backyard.
Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living.
Just check to see if you're subscribed. Don't forget to put the little bell in so you'll know when a new video of mine is coming out. Thanks again for your support.
So, I planted some potatoes in my backyard. These are all sweet potatoes, which I'm removing because everything on this potato plant is edible. The vines are edible, the leaves are edible. A lot of people make salads with them. See, all these potatoes. And I did this basically to cover my yard because this little portion of land that I have, I just wanted something green in there. Well, it caused me a huge problem. There's some more potatoes I picked up from other vines. I have to move these two. These are pineapples. They won't be staying here. I'll be putting them in a pot. Yes, I caused my own problem. So this series of videos is about the potato in Gary's backyard. Now that back there is why I have to get rid of my potato plants in my backyard. Yes, as much as I hate to say this, I introduced rats in my backyard because I gave them an edible plant. See, all these will have to be washed real good. These two. Yes, it's my fault. It's nobody's fault but mine. So as I pull out these things, these runners, oops, sorry about that. I am picking up more potatoes. Look at this giant one. Now that's probably the original potato I put in. So, but maybe not. And it looks like there might be some more down here. Hey, look at this one. There's a giant one. So in emergency, if it wasn't for the rats, this would be a good cash crop to put in your backyard. But for me, it's not gonna work. And I'm pulling it all out today. And I don't want to pull it out. But I also don't want mice and rats in my house, because that's really bad for you. I mean, anybody can tell you. So look, there's more potatoes. Now these are not free potatoes. I watered this carefully and diligently so that it would give this plant plenty of time to grow these. But I wasn't trying to grow potatoes. I'm trying to figure it out. So I now know I can't plant these, and I'm gonna have to dig this out. Oh look, there's another one down here, right here. Gonna have to use a claw tool and dig them out, because I don't want them to come back. And why? Because everything in this plant is edible. The roots are delicious. And, oh, this is probably the original one. Oh, there's a nice one. And you know, and there's another baby coming up. See? So, and this is just one little small plant. Here's another one. See, this is the harvest of one plant. There's more coming. And it's really, here's another one. Yeah, here's another one right here. So, hasn't been totally futile to make this. It's just that I'm creating my own problem by putting these in. So I have to find a plant, a ground cover that the rats won't eat. And the potatoes are the problem. You see, I'm still digging and I'm finding more potatoes. This is just one of the small plants. I haven't even reached the big one. See? All these from one, so you could actually survive. Say you had like maybe 20 of these plants in a backyard, maybe in an area where rats wouldn't get to it, away from your home, quite some distance, because you know, you're always gonna have animals eat parts of your bounty. Anyway, that's just from me digging into the soil. Okay, so that's what this is all about. No more potato plants in Gary's backyard. I'll be planting probably just ivy And I have to go back and go through and dig these all out, and then I'll let you know. I'll let you know what my bounty is. That's the next thing I have to do. I just found a shovel. I'm gonna go back to that hole where I just came from and see if I can dig out some more. All these vines are all edible. And that huge bundle is all edible. Everything's edible. And that's why I have so many rodents in my backyard, which I didn't realize was the problem. Okay, it looks like this hole is doing pretty good. I don't see any more. Yeah. Just going a little further just in case. Yeah, this one's okay. So we have one hole down. Look, some of these have gone in between. So next, let's see the next hole. Release my lamp here. I like to have a little light at night. I think it's good for me. I don't know if it helps the rodents any. Yeah, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. I see they're all over, like just little pieces of potato on the vine. I'll be taking care of that big one later. So we go to the next one. This is over here. And you can already see, here's one potato right here. See? Ah, there's another one. Another one. I like sweet potatoes. They're on my plan, my eating plan. And you know, I didn't really think this was going to be a big deal. That it was going to cause me problems like I have. The past 2 months, I've had an invasion. Why? Because it's getting cold. The animals need a place to eat. They need a place to drink your alcohol if you drink alcohol, or drink your coffee. I don't know. I'm not a rat. Okay, here's another one. The point is that sometimes things work and sometimes things don't. What do you do about it? You keep going. If Linda was alive, that was my spouse, then she would be part of it. She would just love this. She loves things like that. You know, surprises. Like, look at that. There's a surprise right here. I'll put that aside and get that one. I'll have to go through it. And you just, here's another one. So anyway, I think you get my point. So if you are like in a retirement community like this, where you have limited backyard, and you allow your dogs to use a little doggy door, like I do, I don't leave it out at night, I bring it in. Do not plant potatoes in your back. Buy them at the store, they're cheap enough. But if you do, this is what's gonna be happening. You're gonna have a huge crop. And I'm going to go through and get all the potatoes. Okay, it took me a little bit of time. 60 degrees outside right now, so it wasn't that bad. There's another one of my rat carriers. They go in, they don't come out. Unfortunately, that's how it has to be. All of the potatoes are now gone. I've got to reassemble that light. This one too doesn't work anymore. They're from the old place where I was at. They'll probably just go in the trash can. This I have to transplant into another pot and bring it back in the house. Look, something is eating probably a rat is eating this plant. Okay, I have to transplant these guys in bigger pots. They're gonna go outside, but not close to the front door, or the back door. Everything else, I still have some debris to pick up. You can't leave your leaves behind like you would normally, because the rats will eat it. You've got to pick everything up. Well, it's time to wash my beetroots. What I'm doing, I just laid them into my huge sink and I'm just washing them down. Now I happen to know that the soil in my backyard, that small area where you saw me pull them out, do not have any rocks in it, so I think I'm going to be okay. I'm going to use the spray technique for right now and get into more detail. Oh, there's a wonderful smell. Okay. Now that big one we probably won't use because that was what started all of these. But all of these right here that I'm spraying down are going to be wonderful. All right, so what I'm going to do is get some paper right here, double it, take the banana off the top of it, and slowly put them down on that as I wash them. Okay, so here's an example. So just doing this with one hand, so you see how I'm doing it. And then I lay on our paper. Now, these are beetroots. Well, believe it or not, these are beetroots too. This is just the string of the beetroot. So say you were making soup or something like that, this would be perfect. There's nothing wrong with this. People kind of shy away because they think it's a root. Well, what do you think this big thing is? It's a root too. So there's nothing wrong with it. Keep them if you see them in your garden. Most people don't even deal with it because they want the big gigantic beetroot like I have right here in my hand. But you know, beetroot's a beetroot. Now this one is the original beetroot. It's pretty disgusting. Even so, I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to pull this, no. I'm just going to throw that away later. And right now, I'm just going to be going through and taking care of these beetroots that I got for free in my garden. Alright, so you basically have an idea. I'll show you what it looks like at the end. And that way, you have an idea. You see, I have all these little strings there. Nothing wrong with those strings. You can cut them up and you can put them in soups. They're going to taste wonderful. And they come from your garden. Okay? Here's a strange one. Look at a long pencil one. They look like they broke a piece of it off. This is a little too hot, so I'm going to apply some cold. This is probably the piece it broke from, because look at the end, it looks like it matches. I planted these in my garden just so I had something back there so that my wife could see the garden and enjoy it. I just didn't realize what I was doing, but you know, you learn by doing this stuff. You make your mistakes and you go on forward. These beetroot kind of me were feeding the entire rat population of my backyard and maybe adjoining homes because I didn't know better. But you learn the lesson. I get rid of all the beetroot leaves. They're now in my trash can waiting for my trash day. And I'm going to wash these guys and eat them. Since I'm vegan, this will help me in my diet. But you know, in an emergency, this is something to remember. You could plant some beetroots. I put it entirely whole like this. Got all of this from that. And it would give you something to eat. I mean, in an emergency, you're not going to be that picky. Okay, maybe just something like this might be a little hard. It looks like a little stringy. But it all has a purpose. Here's a nice one right here. It's going to be fun putting this in my pressure cooker and cooking it. All right, so I'm going to finish the next minute and then wait until, and I can show you. Okay, I have a piece of branch here, so I think I'll put that over there. They're all different sizes. There's a root attached to the actual beetroot. I'm a person that has never wasted any of my vegetables. I find ways to use them. It's important to be able to eat as whole as you can. Anyway, that is the practice. Okay, alright. Getting close to the end of my minute, and I will see you at the next video. We'll show you the clean bounty that I got from the backyard. So this is the total haul. So there's some pretty nice big ones in here, like this one here, or this curly one here. I don't really know why they did that. I've got really good soil in the backyard, but for some reason, some of these really curled up like here's a U, seesaw type thing. Here's a number 7, see? But there's a bigger number 7. Anyway, here's one of those tools you see that you can use on both sides. Here's a really strange one. These are all the little roots I found. Got some bigger ones. The point is what I'm saying here is, this is from 3 plants. And what I did is when I planted these, it started with one of these that was slightly rotted. You know how that happens in the bag? Planted them and got this harvest in less than 2 months. All the plants from my backyard, I got some extra ones here.
which we're going to do is cook in the 8-quart pressure cooker. I've washed these several times. Look at this monster. And even these little roots here can be eaten. A lot of people don't eat them because, you know, they're stringy. But the point is they can be eaten. I look at all these things. They're all over the place. Okay, so I'm gonna cram this thing full of my sweet potatoes and cook them for 8 minutes in the Instapot. They'll be gooey by the time they come out. Put that in there. Looks like I'm gonna have to use the other. Oh, that won't work. It's just too full. All right, so then what you do here, you take a 2-cup measuring cup. That's it. And then you put the cap on of your 8-quart pressure cooker, whichever one you decide to use. I like to use the Instapot. You see, it's on. You press on this one, you press pressure cooker. It's got 2 minutes. We're going to add, there's a little plus over here. We're going to add 8 minutes to it. Now the small one, which I happen to have too. Now you heard the buzzer. So the buzzer said basically it's on. It should be on, and that's when it's starting the cycle. First it has to come to pressure, then it starts. All right, this one here, we're gonna open it up, drop the rest of our sweet potatoes in, put in 2 cups of water. All right, and once you do that, we're gonna fill it in with some Brussels sprouts. I prefer to buy these at Sam's Club and use them right away. I don't leave them in the package because by the time they've been packaged and everything else, they've been in there a while. You can tell these are fresh because none of the leaves are brown and the stem. Okay, that's what I do basically. It's not gonna hurt anything, that is good potatoes. Brussels sprouts take a long time to cook. Then, it already has the water in there, but we're just gonna put an extra cup in. It'll just take a little longer to size up. You put the cap on, and then we're going to move that one to the other side. I have a big one over here, I guess. Small one over here. Same thing, it's on. I'm going to press, let's see, it's a little different on this one. Manual, and then we're going to bring it down from 15 minutes to 8. That's the wrong way. Then I will show you what they look like when they come back out in 8 minutes. Your meal is cooked. 8 minutes, you can't beat that. All right, so what the true reality is, it takes about 5 minutes. May take a little longer for this spot to come to pressure. Then it starts your 8 minutes. As soon as you hear the buzzer, you unplug it and you vent it. On these different, on the 6-quarter, you have to press down the button. But you have to, on this one, it has an automatic button. It's very easy to handle. That's all there is to it. All right, so come back in a few minutes and I'll show you the bounty of the dinner tonight. Thank you for watching. Now, this one here has only 4 minutes left. Well, this big one who had all the extra potato is finished. So now what you do is you do the following. The idea is once the 8 minutes is done, we don't need to leave them in there any longer. So now this one is finished. The lock is, watch. If you can do that, you know the safety lock's been done. We'll pull it and we'll take care of this in a minute. This is marble, so you can easily put your very hot top on it. We'll finish this one and then we'll show them to you together. This one here, the big one, the potatoes kind of squished down, and so over a third of the pot is completely empty. This one now has been released. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick on the big potato, sweet potatoes first. Pick them up. Put them in this metal bowl. Now this one, this big potato is so well cooked that it's coming out the sides. We have another bowl. Next you take your gloves, in this case, and you don't keep the water in this. Rinse it out really quick, because I'm going to be cooking more vegetables. Put this back in here. Now I'm going to show you the other potatoes and the Brussels sprouts. And for giggles, we'll put it here. Using the same thing here, we're going to scoop them up and try to separate them where the Brussels sprouts are on one side and the potatoes are on the other side. Here we can get away with it. We only have one Brussels sprout. And this is a little bit more complicated. I like to keep the potatoes. The Brussels sprouts with the Brussels sprouts. Now some people say that mixing vegetables might change your food choices, the taste. I haven't found that. But since I don't use very many herbs in my cooking, it's possible. It doesn't seem to bother me any. Now normally I don't cook food this way, but this is a good way to be able to do two very difficult vegetables to cook in the same pot for the same amount of time, and both of them are ready. And let me show you how I can tell. Use a fork. We're just going to pick on this one here. And the biggest potato is in this bowl, and the fork goes through it. I sometimes like to cook my food a little bit al dente, not fully cooked, because I'm going to cook them again in the microwave. The other one, everything else is soft. Okay, Brussels sprouts goes right through. So these two foods are perfect for a nice, interesting dinner. You can combine your Brussels sprouts and your sweet potato, and it's ready. I'll be packaging these in quart-sized containers. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do really quick. We're going to cook this in a big pot. Put it all in. And one bag fills about halfway. So about 3/4. And we're just going to clean this one out really fast too. We're not going to reuse the water. Even though I very carefully cleaned out the roots, that doesn't mean there's not soil in there. I just don't want to have any soil in my food. Put that in there, and we're going to put in some Brussels sprouts. Couple in here, shut the load, and that'll be that. All right, so now you've got a basic idea. Let's put the water in. All of my water is filtered through tanks that are in my garage, which means that I have very less, not very many chemicals and everything else in between. All right, so then put the lids on. I always have trouble getting the lid on this one. Okay, so put it in. And then this. Then we turn it on. First one is the big one. On this one, because it's Brussels, it's Broccoli, we don't need more than, let's see, we're going to check it. It's at 8 minutes. We're going to bring it down to 1 minute. Because that's my latest way of cooking. And this is, we're going to turn this one on. Put it to the side. We're just going to press adjust, no, manual, and we're going to bring it down to 1 minute. All right, now why 1 minute? It's really simple, all about nutrients. The more you cook your food, the more nutrients you lose. See, the small one's already on. Came the pressure, and it's perfect. It's starting its cycle right now. This one hasn't started yet. As soon as it says on, then it started. Why am I mentioning this to you? Because we basically lose so many nutrients in our foods. We need to capture as many as we can. I like to cook my food, but many of my vegan friends, they like to eat it raw. Everybody has their preferences, okay? So we'll be back in a little bit, and I will just show you these two vegetables that come out of the Instapot. So did I eat the roots? No, I did not. Why is that? Because they're chewy. All I was trying to say here is that you can eat the roots. In a survival situation, or you're running out of food, you could eat the potato roots. That's all I'm saying. This is the bounty of all those potatoes I had in my garden. I did take some of the skins off that were sort of black. I didn't like that. So what I'm preparing myself is a dinner, and I'll be showing that to you. While I was at it, I made myself some wild rice. It's right here, cooking on the stove. And we're going to do it automatic on it. We're going to steam them both together. Do this over here today. And in here what I have is Brussels sprouts. I'm just using the pan here. The difference is that these only cook for 1 minute. See if I can find my fork. Take one Brussels sprout. Look how far it goes in instantly. So you don't have to cook it for 8 minutes like I did. And also the difference is, when you have an 8 minute, you have dark skin. When you have a 1 minute, you have green skin. It's not cooked to death. But there are many, many directions on the internet and on the manuals tell you to cook it for 8 minutes. Because it's a much denser vegetable. Alright, so we're waiting for the other one to escape. Meanwhile, I'll put some of these beautiful green Brussels sprouts on my plate, including the, that's right, this also had the broccoli, so that's why. Alright, that just released. We're going to move this one away. And it also is Brussels sprouts with broccoli. So that's my dinner. The only thing that I do different on my plate is I put nutritional yeast on top. I purchased a special kind of nutritional yeast called Medley Hills Farm nutritional yeast with B12. Not that I don't take B12, I do. But as you get older, your absorption is different. This has got a little bit of a hint of cheese. I really like it. I don't have to oversalt, and the meal turns out to be fine every time. And I also add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. If you listen to Dr. McGregor, he believes in this. In his studies, he's proven that this can reduce quite a bit of fat on your stomach or other areas that you have. It doesn't happen instantly. It takes months and months, but it's worth it. I know, another cooking video, but I appreciate that you were listening and watching me cook another batch cooking with my 6 and my 8 quart Instant Pot pressure cooker. And as for these potatoes there, I'll probably be taking off the skins off of them, or I just was doing experimentation. Both the dogs love them. They're very nice and tasty. They don't need any kind of seasoning.
This is the broccoli, and you can see the steam, that's how hot it is. This is the broccoli and the Brussels sprouts. This is what it came out of. This is the potatoes from my backyard. This is my meal tonight. I'm going to use that as the front cover. Alright, this is the other one with leftovers. Probably be putting that in my meal as well.